Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christy and that's Steve right on cue. I think he's missed being on here with you guys. Feeling a little better today. My goal for the day is to make a nice dinner for my husband and my daughter who have been taking care of me while I'm sick. So after this video, I'm going to do it in stages. I'm going to make us like a nice big chef salad. I'm going to make us mashed potatoes and then these stuffed chicken. Well, it's not really stuffed, it's going to be rolled, but stuffed chicken breasts for dinner. So hopefully I can manage to get that all done because my husband works all day, comes home and has to deal with me at night, and my daughter gets me drinks and whatever I may need, medicine, whatever, through the day. So they've been really great. Today, I want to kind of get us caught up on all the chaos, confusion, nonsense that's going on around poor little Quinton's case with, the family just really making asses out of themselves. And then we're, still watching as they dig through the landfill, hoping to find little Quinton. Let's put him up here. I found this beautiful picture. Look at this sweet angel sleeping. But yeah, they're still digging through the landfill trying to find him. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see. And I've been trying to keep up with, all the updates and everything while I've been sick. And there's a lot of people out there that they feel like Quinton isn't in that landfill. Like somehow it's like a diversion that maybe they put things of Quinton's, a blanket or clothes or what have you, in the dumpster, and that's what led them to go to the landfill when actually Quinton could be somewhere else. And I mean, I guess it's possible, right? But you've heard me talk about my friend, the private investigator, Jathan, and his dogs are specially trained on the odor of, sorry, the dogs are playing, of human remains, and they're able to find clandestine graves, graves that, for hundreds of years have been there, bones that have been there for, decades and decades underground. Their senses are very acute. I guess the best way I can explain it is when we were at our last base, my best friend, he was a canine handler in the Air Force, and he got deployed to Afghanistan, and his dog was a bomb sniffing dog. And I was really worried about him going over there. His dog was black, and apparently there's something with the people over there that, like, black dogs are not a good thing. And I'm like, he's going to be walking around searching for these bombs. He's got this black dog, it just felt like he was going to be a target. And of course I was concerned about one of those bombs potentially going off and him not making it home. And the kennel master sat me down and he explained it to me like this. He said, for us, let's say you have a cheeseburger and somebody walks in and they can smell like, hey, that's a cheeseburger, right? Like the combined smell of everything to us would be cheeseburger. But for the dog, they smell the bun, the meat, the cheese, the lettuce, the tomato, the pickle, the onion, whatever may be on there, the ketchup, the mustard. That their nose breaks it into so many different parts. There's so many different things that their nose detects. Like, they don't smell something as a whole. It's pieces, right? So Jathan's dogs are trained on that specific scent, that odor that comes with decomp, and that would be different than the odor that, let's say, like a tracking dog would be trained on, because if they're tracking you, they're tracking your live scent, so to speak. And if let's say they put the clothes and the blanket, like if he was wearing his pajamas and was on that blanket when he died, could there be that death smell on there? Possibly. That's something I want to talk to my friend about. But I feel like whatever scent they hit on in that dumpster that led them to call in all of these specially trained FBI agents from Quantico to dig through this landfill, it was significant enough for them to believe that that is what happened and that is where Quinton is at. So, of course, as with every case we cover, anything is possible, right? And maybe he is somewhere else. I don't know. But it's such an awful job that they're having to do, because we can look at this picture of Quinton. It's almost like the dogs, right? We smell a cheeseburger, they smell bits. We think of Quinton, like this picture. That's not what they're out there looking for. I don't want to be any more graphic than that. But this picture, that's not what they're going to find. And it's sad. And I feel really awful for the people that have been tasked with that job. I mean, it would be bad enough looking for any person in a place like that. But a 20-month-old, beautiful boy, I can't imagine what that's like for them. So, the family, well, specifically Leilani and her mom, Billy Joe, they've had an interesting way of coping with the situation, I guess is the best way I can put it. Apparently, Danny, Leilani's boyfriend, Sky's dad, took off. I had heard he went to Atlanta to play pool with his buddies. I've heard he's in North Carolina. I don't know where he is, but he's gone. And a lot of people are kind of pointing the finger at him. I believe he was questioned. He was supposedly the last one to see him before he left for work. He said that Quinton was sleeping in his playpen when he left for work at 6 a.m. Now, we had heard that the text that the babysitter got at 5:29 or whatever in the morning saying that she wasn't going to have the kids that day because Leilani was going to keep them at home, she had said that came from Danny. But I've seen reports that she showed her phone to a reporter, and I believe it was News Nation, but I Don't quote me on that. But it was one of the reputable news sources, and it showed that the text actually came from Leilani's phone. So, like a lot of other cases, I could send you a text from my husband's phone. I could send you a text from my daughter's phone, and you're not going to know if it was me or them, right? Could Danny have texted her from Leilani's phone? Sure. Could Leilani have been the one to send the text? Sure. Did Danny know what happened? That's the big question. That's the question that everyone wants answered, including me. When did it happen? Whatever happened to Quinton, when did it happen? He had been at the babysitter's the day before. He went home that evening. What happened and when? Was it overnight? Did it happen that morning? When did it happen? And when did the cover-up begin that they were going to dispose of him? It reminds me a lot of the Kaylee Anthony case, sadly. As soon as I heard they were draining that pool, I flashed back to Casey Anthony's case, because when they finally took her to court, that was where her defense went, was that Kaylee could open the door, she could go out, the ladder was left down, she climbed into the pool, and she drowned, and it was an accident. And then for whatever reason, they got rid of her the way they did. So when they were draining the pool, I was like, is this where we're going to go again? Is it going to be, he accidentally got out and he got in the pool and he drowned? And you know what? Maybe he did. But in my mind, it doesn't make any of this any better if it was an accident. Because if it was an accident, you call the police, you call 911, you call for paramedics, you do whatever. But you don't throw your child away like trash. You just don't. If it is an accident, that is not how one deals with it. It's just not. And yeah, we're thinking like normal people, but I just don't see, if you go out and you find your baby in the pool and you pick them up and they're lifeless, and you call for help and you try to revive them, and if that's not successful, you don't just toss them away. You don't. So like I said, even if they want to go that route and say something happened and it was an accident, it doesn't make any of this okay. It just doesn't. And there's a level of neglect with that as well. So we know that Leilani did not have custody of at least the boys. I'm not entirely sure about Sky, but I know that Billy Joe had custody of the two boys. Leilani was not supposed to be left alone with them. Billy Joe works out of town sometimes. She travels for work or whatever. During those times, those kids were not supposed to be left with Leilani, which I think is where the whole babysitter thing came in, that, she would keep them overnight sometimes or whatever. But on this day, Billy Joe's not there and Leilani's with the kids, and then this happens. So the kids have been removed. Thank goodness, because I was very concerned about the other two kids. This says Howell, that's Billy Joe, who has been reported to have a lengthy rap sheet, had been appointed legal guardian of Simon's other two children, age 3 and just 6 months. Okay, so the way this reads, she had custody of Sky. That's the baby. But the Division of Family and Children's Services in Chatham County, Georgia, found she had failed to provide adequate supervision, and the children have been placed in foster care. So that's good to know. At least those babies are safe. Billy Joe, I had read an article, and she compared her family to Shameless. If you don't know what Shameless is, there's a little description up here. This is a picture from one of the shows, and it says Oscar-nominated actor William H. Macy stars as Frank Gallagher, a single father of 6 who spends much of his free time drinking at bars. The Gallagher children, led by oldest daughter Fiona Emmy Rossum, who takes on much of the child-rearing responsibility due to her mother's absence, manage to raise themselves in spite of Frank's lack of parenting and unusual parenting style when he does choose to act like a father. There's a lot of drinking, drug use, undesirable behavior that goes on in this show. And it's a show, so, people find it funny. These kids they're raising themselves. They're not doing a great job at it. Where they live is just a disaster. And that's what she claims her family. If she had to pick a show to compare her family to, it would be Shameless. I don't know. I thought that was weird, so I thought I'd share that with you. But Billy Joe's behavior towards Leilani now, it bugs me. And I'll go back to Casey Anthony. In Casey Anthony's case, you remember when the mom found her, she called the police and she said, "It smells like there's been a damn dead body in the car. My granddaughter's been missing for a month and I don't know where she is," and all this stuff. And everything she did, she was really angry at Casey, and she was angry about the situation, and she knew, you could tell, she knew Casey had done something with that baby. You could tell. It's just like a mom's instinct. But then by the time we go to trial, it's all changed. All of a sudden, she's got Casey's back. She's covering for her, like the computer searches and things like that. She claims she did them, but they can prove she was actually at work when they happened. So it was Casey that did them and things like that. And we've got that same 180 happening in this case. At first, Billy Joe was like, she's distraught. She doesn't know if Leilani did something, but you could tell that she felt like, she probably did. And now they're like best buds hanging out, drinking together. So I want to just kind of take you through some of the old clips and things just to kind of remind us where we started before we get to where we are. So she came out with this. This is Billy Joe quote saying, "Sometimes she does really great, sometimes she doesn't. I don't know if I can trust her. I don't." And here she is saying it in a video. Excuse me.
We both left right then. I got here about 3 o'clock yesterday.
And I got here about 3:30 in the morning.
It's been crazy. I mean, we don't know nothing. Whether it's the answers we want to hear or answers we don't want to hear, we just want to know something. My concern is him, and that's all it is. I mean, we concerned with his well-being.
I know everybody worked really hard yesterday, but I want them to keep working hard.
And we appreciate everything that everybody has done, all the people that's come out and searched for him and all that. And he's always smiling. He's a happy kid. I mean, you get some kids but he always had a big smile on his face, and he was always happy.
Let me ask you, why are you getting emotional?
Because he's not here. He's just a baby, and I want him home. He's just a baby. Leilani's my daughter. She's 22. She hasn't always done the right things. And sometimes she does really great, and sometimes she doesn't. And I don't know what to think right now. I don't know what to believe, because I don't think anybody ever believes that this is going to happen to them. I don't know if I can trust her if I don't.
I mean,
I just know I'm hurting, and I want this baby home.
We want
He's my
answers, and
baby.
we don't have answers.
Just
No,
thank
not right
you
now.
to everybody
Yeah,
that's helped.
thank you for everybody that's looked for him,
And please don't stop looking.
yeah, like I say, we want answers. We want to find him. That's the answer we want, is somebody found him. You know, we're still hoping and praying, and we wish everybody to pray for him. Pray for us.
Yes.
All right. And where is Billy Joe's husband? Like, everybody else is out here making an ass of themselves on TV and YouTube and out in public, but haven't seen him. Somehow he's managed to stay off the radar. Here's another quote from Billy Joe about her daughter. Above the quote, it says, Simon, that's Leilani, has previously admitted to doing drugs while pregnant, and her own mother once said she was untrustworthy. Quote, she hasn't always done the right thing, Howell said. Howell, who had legal custody of Quinton, said following her grandson's disappearance. I mean, it says a lot, right? I mean, for a mom to say that about her daughter, it says a lot. And then this came out. This is a clip of Bubba, who was Quinton's dad, talking with Billy Joe about what happened to Quinton. I'm going to play this for you, and then I'm going to read an article to you. And it's just absolutely mind-blowing how she seems very nonchalant about the whole thing. So let me play this. It's a very quick clip, so let me play that for you.
I feel strongly about that. I feel, honestly and truthfully, Bubba, I ain't gonna lie to you, I feel like there was an accident. I feel like something happened while Quinton was in the bathtub and he drowned and they were both high. That's my theory.
Well, hell, they should just call the police if something like that happened.
Whenever you're high as hell, man, you do stupid shit. Even yourself, you a different person whenever you defending her. Because I'm not defending her. You know what I mean? But I know I'm not the same person on the...
So my opinion on that whole thing is, well, for starters, Bubba's right. You know, should have just called the police. But you do stupid shit when you're high. Okay, I don't know, because I don't do drugs. But I don't think putting your child in the bath and letting him drown because you're so high you pass out is stupid shit. How do you justify that as stupid shit? I mean, there's a lot of things that I would say is stupid shit, but letting your kid drown because you're high is not one of them. So the article that went along with that clip has more quotes from the conversation. It was a longer conversation between Bubba and Billy Joe. He, I think, was trying to get her to give him some information, maybe say something that would help. So it says, Leilani Simon, 22, has been named the main suspect in the disappearance of 20-month-old son Quinton Simon, who vanished from his Savannah, Georgia home on October 5th. And you know, while we're reading this, let's just go ahead and let's put little Quinton back up here so we can keep our focus on what matters. And in this case, that right there, baby Quinton, is what matters. In a recorded phone call obtained by DailyMail.com, grandmother Billy Joe Howell is heard telling the boy's father she thinks the toddler drowned in the bathtub. Honestly and frankly, Bubba, I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like there was an accident, she tells Henry Bubba Moss in the audio clip. Howell, 45, goes on to say she believes her daughter, Leilani, and boyfriend, that would be Danny, were high on drugs. DailyMail.com located Moss on Monday at his Girard home, 85 miles from where Quinton was last seen, where he claimed Leilani told cops he snatched the boy. Leilani's tried to blame it on me, the 24-year-old told dailymail.com. I told police she's gonna hurt that baby. If you remember, they cleared him. I'm pretty sure it was day one that they came out in a presser and said that the birth father had been cleared. But initially, you remember when Leilani called it in, she said that she thought somebody had come in. The door was open and she thought somebody had come in and snatched her baby. Well, apparently, she tried to blame it on Bubba, who was 85 miles away, and they have him like on camera footage. I mean, he absolutely has a rock solid alibi. He had nothing to do with this. And then, of course, you know, Billy Joe stormed off down to the babysitter's house and started accusing her. Bubba described Leilani as a cheater and liar who spent her days snorting cocaine and smoking marijuana. FBI agents assume the boy is dead and are searching a landfill for Quinton's body. The grandmother of Quinton Simon believes the missing toddler accidentally drowned in a bathtub because her daughter and boyfriend were passed out on drugs. Billy Joe Howell, 45, shared her theory on the case and much more in a bombshell conversation on Saturday with the child's biological father, Henry Bubba Moss. Her daughter, Leilani Simon, 22, has been named the main suspect in the disappearance of her 20-month-old son, Quinton, who vanished from his Savannah, Georgia home on October 5th. In an audio of an 11-minute phone call obtained by dailymail.com, Billy Joe can be heard saying, "I feel, honestly and frankly, Bubba, I'm not going to lie to you, I feel like there was an accident. I feel like something happened while Quinton was in the bathtub and he drowned. And they were both high. That's my theory." And then Bubba says, hell, they should have just called the police if something like that happened. Billy Joe says, if you're high as hell, man, you do stupid shit. Let's see, I got some pictures here. Billy Joe said police, meanwhile, have shared their own suspicion that Leilani, the boy's mother, blacked out that morning. So I guess that message that we saw when she messaged a YouTuber and said, you know, Quinton's passed, Leilani did it, but she doesn't remember. Billy Joe makes it sound like the police were the one that make the assumption that Leilani doesn't remember. So I don't know if that's where that whole narrative came from, but I feel like they're latching on, like they hear things that the protesters are saying. They hear things that we are saying on social media. They hear the news media, police, and they're just grasping onto that to kind of build their story, to build their narrative. So that's what we're going to go with, is like, she just, you know, it's like Jodi Arias, you know, she had that fog where she just couldn't remember anything about, you know, when she killed Travis Alexander. The police are the ones saying that she went into a traumatic state and blacked out, she told Bubba in the call. It's not her saying she don't remember. That's what police told her. And that's what they told me. Billy Joe was away when her 20-month-old grandson vanished from their home in Savannah early October 5th. According to police, Leilani's boyfriend, Danny Youngkin, was the last one to see him around 6 a.m. It wasn't until after 9 a.m. that his mother reported him missing, conveniently after the trash was picked up. Police suspect Quinton's body was placed in a dumpster, and investigators have been searching for the body in a nearby landfill. Leilani is the prime suspect in the disappearance and presumed death of the 20-month-old, but police are yet to make an arrest. Child Protective Services also removed her 2 other children from her custody on October 12th. I swear one of my dogs is possessed by a demon or something. I don't know if you could hear that, but wow. On Monday, Simon spoke out, claiming she has now become a prisoner in her own home after being suspected of being involved in her son's disappearance. The young mother told WTOC in a teary interview how she has to barricade herself in the yard to hide from protesters. And I have that interview. I will be playing it for you. With some even leaving signs like baby killer on a memorial she set up outside for her son. I'm here. I've been here every day since this. Not since my son went missing, my son disappeared. Since this. I'm not running and I'm not hiding, she told the local news station. And if something does come up that I am at fault, I will take myself to the police station. Me? Go on. Get your butt down there now, because she's got to be at fault. I mean, come on. Bubba said that Leilani kept her pregnancy with Quinton a secret from him. FBI agents assume the boy is dead and are searching a landfill for Quinton's body. She went on to slam protesters who have been gathering outside her home, saying, "It makes it hard to even process what's going on around us. I can't even walk out and appreciate my own son's memorial or put down gifts that I got for him," she continued. So, according to the babysitter, Leilani didn't provide diapers, pull-ups, milk for the baby, bare necessities, wipes, things like that you need for a baby. But now that he's gone, she's got gifts for him. So, okay. In their phone conversation, Bubba asked Billy Joe, who has legal custody of Quinton, and his older brother, why police are so confident he was dumped. "They're saying they got video," she replied. "Nobody's seen the video." Both she and Bubba were wondering why Danny wasn't also named a suspect, expressing anger that he has since left town. The rumor was he was staying with family in Atlanta, but Billy Joe said he was actually in North Carolina. "He lied about going to Atlanta," she said. "He's not in Atlanta. He's in Dunn, North Carolina. I'm trying to expose him right now online the best I can." The grandmother has spent much of the last couple of weeks holed up at home with her daughter, Leilani, her husband, and other family and friends who have come to support them. Support them? She told Bubba that she feels like a prisoner in her own house as the police investigation enters its third week. But she said the fact investigators haven't made an arrest suggests their case is weak. "I feel like the FBI is putting a lot of heat on all of us as a family, including you," she says. "And they're doing it on purpose, like they want to break us all down, like there's something we will run up there and tell them." She was also skeptical that the FBI will be able to find Quinton's body in the landfill. "You got to figure there's a lot of trucks that go out there and dump," she said. And it was a week before they decided that was where they was going to go. So that's a lot of trucks all week. Bubba shared his own news, informing Billy Joe that the FBI tested his DNA to confirm that he's Quinton's biological father. He told DailyMail.com earlier in the day that police confronted him shortly after Quinton's disappearance after Leilani falsely accused him of snatching the child. In speaking with Billy Joe, Bubba didn't talk about that. He was fishing for information on the case and let her do most of the talking. "People hate me," she said in despair. Billy Joe said she was away when Quinton went missing and that she had no idea that the children were in danger. "I promise you, I would have never, ever, ever left them babies in a situation that was bad for them," she told the boy's father. "I knew Leilani and Danny were having their problems, but I didn't really see it affecting the kids," she continued. She said the stress has been wearing her down, and the noise of the protesters gathered outside her house, honking horns and yelling baby killers into the night, has made life even more unbearable. She explained that she tried to escape the noise early last week by traveling to Tybee Island, a nearby vacation resort. She, Leilani, and a few friends checked into a motel, then went out drinking at a bar. There were media reports of them downing shots of Patron while smiling. On the same day, the FBI began a search for little Quinton in the landfill. And yeah, we're going to talk about that. Billy Joe was mortified when the news got out, telling Bubba that they should have just stayed at the motel rather than going out drinking at Stingray's. You think? We left from here because of the protesters, she said. It got so bad. My friends from out of town that come down here to support me, they stayed close to me for 2 days and then decided to get a room at the beach for 2 days. And we went down there. And I told them, I don't think it's a good idea that we go out in public with y'all. I think it's better we stay here at the motel room. And they're like, what, you can't go have dinner? She continued. Now I rationalized in my head, yeah, why can't we go have dinner? You know what I mean? And the next thing you know, we were partying and screaming and hollering. And that's not the case, she said. Leilani didn't even drink. Now I drank both drinks that was ordered for Leilani. I drank a friend's drink and I drank mine. So I was messed up. And then, of course, I went and laid on the beach and just cried, she said. But they didn't play that part, you know. At one point in the conversation, Bubba asked how Leilani was faring, and Billy Joe replied that she was doing the best she can. Leilani's been trying to keep her mind busy with doing a lot of recovery stuff, she said. Leilani, who has a history of abusing drugs, is starting a rehab program this week, she pointed out. She's also receiving counseling through a city program called Hugs. She's got a lot of different stuff going on with that, she said. The bad thing is, I'm asking, hey, what can I do? She said she's desperate to regain a sense of normalcy. It's been really hard, she continued to Bubba. And the protesters and stuff like that out there, we can't even process what our next move needs to be and what we need. I'm trying to figure out if it's a good idea that I go back to work, she added. And I need to go back to work. The last thing I want to do is bring this kind of attention to a job site. I won't have a job long. And now nobody can go anywhere by ourselves, she continued. Everybody has to have a riding partner. You can't leave. The only time Leilani can leave is when we sneak her out for appointments that she has. They kept returning to the subject of drugs and how that may have played a role in Quinton's disappearance. You're a different person when you do drugs, Billy Joe said. I'm not defending her, you know what I mean? But I know I'm not the same person on drugs. Actually, if I'm on drugs, you all ain't gonna see Billy nowhere because Billy got to go hide out with the addicts. I can't go to work. I can't look at people in the face. I can't. I gotta go. I gotta go MIA. But that's how I do. Well, I feel like if it was an accident, they should have just called the police, Bubba responded. I agree, Billy Joe said. Billy Joe continued to vent about feeling trapped. The police told me that, a matter of fact, they told me if I felt like I needed to get away, I needed to leave and go somewhere, that Leilani needs to stay here, she said. The only reason I'm not in Quinton's life is because she left, Bubba told DailyMail.com. She was not welcome here anymore with all her lying and stealing. At one point, Billy Joe seems to address a comment to both Bubba and Leilani, who may have been listening. I don't mean this in no kind of way, Leilani, but who the F don't leave their own house? Billy Joe said. You know what I mean? That's how you would feel if we was in different shoes. Who the F don't leave their own house? As the phone conversation winded down, Billy Joe offered Quinton's father some love. I don't know, baby, but I know no matter what, you're in my family and you're in my heart, she told him. Yeah, I just wanted to know if y'all heard anything else, Bubba replied. I don't know. As soon as I do, honey, you'll be one of the first ones I call, she said. It was late afternoon, and Bubba, standing outside his home in Girard, Georgia, a rural town 85 miles from Savannah, was preparing to head out for the season's first day of deer hunting. All right, well, I'm fixing to go deer hunting, so I guess I'll talk to you later, he told Billy Joe. All right, I love you, she replied. All right, love you. Before he could hang up, she half joked, bring us some deer meat now. You know we can't leave the house. All right, he said, and she replied, we prisoners. So, yeah. Let me get a drink real quick. Prisoners. Well, if they hadn't made such assholes out of themselves, they might not be catching as much heat. I understand the frustration from the protesters. I do. I get it. I'm frustrated. I do feel bad for the other people in the neighborhood that have to listen to it, day and night, them being so loud. We all have a constitutional right for peaceful protest. At times, it seems like these protests are getting a little out of hand, maybe not so peaceful, but at the same time, Billy Joe and Leilani seem to be just egging it on. They're not helping the situation. I feel like, well, the protesters have said they're not leaving till Leilani's arrested. And, they're there for the long haul. And there's some YouTubers out there that are live streaming and things like that, if you want to watch. And that's been my frustration, is she's their number one suspect. They've said that. They've said, she's not a flight risk, yada, yada. But to see her out there living her life, just, drinking, getting high, doing what she's doing, right? It's frustrating when you put that up against what's happening at that landfill every day. It's very frustrating. And, sometimes they will bring a person in on a lesser charge, a holding charge, until they get the evidence they need to charge them with the bigger crime. And like with Casey Anthony, she had return checks that she got arrested for. I believe was the first thing she got arrested for. And with Leilani, she's on probation, double probation, I believe, from Georgia and maybe North Carolina, but another state. And she has violated that probation. Apparently, she failed a drug test. If they really wanted to, I'm sure that they could bring her in for a parole violation and hold her on that while all this other stuff is going on and evidence is being gathered. I would think they could do that. But for whatever reason, they're not. And I've got 2 news clips that I'll be playing here in a minute. And in one of them, the guy kind of gives his opinion of why he thinks they have left her out. But like I said, I get the protesters venting their frustration, because it is maddening to see her out there just, living her life and just going on while you've got people digging through a landfill looking for your child. It's disturbing. But let's talk a little bit about their trip to Tybee Island. And boy, y'all, this set me off. So it was day 1 at the landfill. This is what, they're dealing with. These are the Quantico FBI agents out there in the white suits, raking through piles of trash, looking for some little piece of something that points to that boy being there. So they're out there in this landfill while Billy Joe and Leilani take off to go here to Stingrays and Tybee Island. I mean, just look at this contrast. If that doesn't piss you off, I mean, come on. I bet the people in the landfill would much rather be going to Tybee Island. They should have Leilani out there at the landfill digging. And again, we've got a picture from the landfill. And I mean, it's a huge line of these people walking out there every day, going through this stuff. It's just a nightmare. And while this is going on, we have Leilani out at the bar at Tybee Island. I mean, look at the contrast. It's disgusting. And then we have this witness describing what they saw when they were at the bar. You'd think they would be quiet, but they weren't. It was like they wanted attention. There were around 6 of them in the group. They were drinking Patron, a top shelf tequila. They were here from around 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. Others told WSAV that they ran up a $300 bar tab and were flirting with the staff. Police have already been in contact with the bar to request the surveillance footage of their 3-hour drinking session. After details of Leilani's outing at the bar emerged on Wednesday, the local police department tweeted a photo of their landfill search for Quinton. We're not ready to charge anyone yet. We still have work to do. I mean, if that don't say it all right there. A $300 bar tab. They're out there flirting. One of the waiters said they demanded his phone number. I mean, this is not how you behave in a situation like this. The optics for this are terrible. I would not want to be her attorney. How do you justify this behavior? How? If you wanted to get away from the protesters and the chaos that's going on outside your house, fine, whatever. Go sit at a hotel or go to somebody else's house or whatever. But you don't go out and run up a $300 bar tab at a vacation spot at Tybee freaking Island, making all this noise, drawing attention to yourself, like purposely drawing attention to yourself. I mean, did they really think they could go anywhere? Never mind anywhere nearby in Georgia, that people weren't going to know who they were and what she is suspected of doing? I mean, come on. You know, it puts me in mind of St. Sammy and the Kylie case. We're just going to put ourselves right out here up front, you know, put all the attention on ourselves. No. It's wrong. It's wrong on a lot of levels. It's just wrong. It's not normal behavior. Again, Casey Anthony, the hot body contest, getting the beautiful life tattoo, the, you know, all the disturbing shit she was doing while her daughter was missing. In that month where she didn't report her baby girl missing, she's out partying, sleeping at her boyfriend's, getting tattoos. I mean, ugh, disturbing. So here is one of the news clips that came out about their trip to Tybee Island.
It has been more than 2 weeks since a Chatham County toddler went missing. Investigators believe 20-month-old Quinton Simon is dead and have named his mother as the prime suspect. That has many people wondering, why hasn't his mother, Leilani Simon, been charged with the crime?
No one has been charged.
Why has no one been charged?
Because we're not ready to charge anyone yet. We still have work to do.
Yesterday, we showed you exclusive pictures of Leilani Simon at a Tybee Island bar. This as officers wrapped up the first day of searching a Chatham County landfill for her son's body. WSCV's lead investigative reporter Brett Buffington is live tonight at a joint task force command center near the search site. And he brings us a new perspective on the question of why no charges so far in this case. Brett?
Quite frankly, Tina, that is because Leilani Simon isn't a threat to anyone else in the public. At least that's the opinion of this law enforcement expert I talked with today, asking specifically why Leilani is not in jail. It's the picture so many people are talking about. Leilani Simon at this Tybee Island bar Tuesday night. Servers told us her mom, Billy Jo, was with her. With a few other people, we've learned they ran up a tab over $300. That happened while dozens of federal agents and Chatham County investigators continued their search for her son.
It's not necessarily the public pressure, but a deep desire to find that child's body.
Art Acevedo, former police chief in Austin, Houston, and Miami, with his insight on why police haven't arrested anyone in Quinton's case.
A parent that kills a child more than likely is a low risk to a stranger, to the greater society.
An arrest could simply be on hold because police believe they will find Quinton's body.
If you think you have a lead where the body is at, like it appears you do in your case, it's important to be patient.
Today, the WSAV investigative unit learned new details about Quinton's mom's past. Leilani Simon, who told police last month she was on probation, was. Just last year in North Carolina, Leilani Simon was charged with a felony, accused of stealing 2 packs of cigarettes, a bag of popcorn, and a drink from the truck stop where she worked. Chatham County Police have said when they bring charges in Quinton's case, there won't be any doubt about them. Well, let's go back to those terms of that probation. Leilani Simon is 5 months into a 12-month sentence there. She has to serve 48 hours of community service and can't be caught committing another serious crime. As for the search today at that landfill, the investigators have come back here to this command center and gone home for the day. There is no update of anything they found there, but they will be back first thing in the morning.
How much do you love Brett Buffington? I mean, come on. He's like the Brian Enton of this case. You know, Brian Enton blew up during Gabby Petito, right? If you wanted to know something, you went to Brian Enton. And for this case, I go to Brett Buffington on Twitter because he's always got really good, up-to-date information. Love his work on covering this case. So he's coming out, like I said, like he's going to be the new Brian Enton. Hopefully he gets a raise out of this, because he is doing a great job. Okay, let's see. I've got one more clip about Tybee freaking Island. This is the one where the man kind of gives his perspective on why he thinks that they are letting Leilani stay out. And I hope he's right. I hope he's right. But here we go with that one.
Tonight, the community is shocked again as the case in the disappearance of Quinton Simon takes yet another turn. As our Andy Cole reports, when news broke of Quinton's mom and grandmother out reportedly drinking, it had some people feeling uneasy.
That's not the kind of look that a lawyer is going to want to have to explain.
That look is news that Leilani Simon and Billie Joe Howell, little Quinton Simon's mom and grandmother, went out drinking at a Tybee Island bar just hours after federal investigators finished their first day searching through a landfill for Quinton's body.
Sickening. Pure sickness.
Neighbor Angela Ortega said she picketed outside Quinton's home for hours Wednesday.
I cannot believe how they're walking the streets and a baby is gone. How can you do that? How? I was sick. I said, what?
Brenda Krause was outraged too. Even still, she and her son Billy Smith,
it's just a very sad situation.
Brought stuffed animals to add to the front yard memorial.
Just a way to help feel like you've done something, even if you're not really doing anything.
As the shrine to Quinton continues to grow, so does the number of people asking,
why, in your mind, do you think that they haven't charged or arrested her?
Former police officer and prosecutor Philip Holloway, who's not connected to the case, told WJCL 22 News police likely want to cross their T's before making any moves. But Holloway thinks they could be racking up more evidence while Leilani remains free.
They have the opportunity to watch her. They have the opportunity to put surveillance on her. It could be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're looking at who she's talking to, where she's going, what time of day she's coming, and what time of day she's going. And they are perhaps giving her an opportunity to provide them more evidence.
Regardless of all of that, FBI experts will be back at the landfill bright and early Friday morning, searching piece by piece. In Chatham County, I'm Andy Cole, WJCL 22 News.
All right, so hopefully it's like my dad used to say, give someone enough rope and they'll hang themselves with it. Hopefully that's what police are doing, is just letting her be out there and do her stupid crap and make herself look bad, make herself look more guilty. Maybe she'll slip up and say or do something. I don't know. And I do appreciate the fact that when they arrest her, they want to have everything airtight and perfect so she does not get away with it. I can appreciate that. I can, even though it is frustrating. Like I said, it's good to know that when they finally bring charges against her, they're going to stick because they did work so hard to get everything right. So I told you earlier that I feel like Leilani and Billy Joe, they're not helping themselves as far as the protester situation goes, because they're kind of egging them on, if you will. So I want to show you this picture. That is a picture, it's a still shot from a video of Leilani in the window, and she's been dancing. As the protesters are taunting them, she starts dancing in front of the windows. Like, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm sick and I'm on medicine and my brain's just mush right now. But all I could think of is, you know, you've seen those pictures and videos, like, I think it's Amsterdam, where they have like a red light district and the women, you know, get up there in their sexy clothes and they dance in front of the windows for the men down below. That's exactly what I thought of when I saw this. I was like, what the hell is she doing? Why? But this is what I mean. You know, she's dancing in front of the windows while people are yelling at their house. And then you've got people out there digging through garbage looking for her baby. It's just, ooh. You know? Just makes you want to throw things. And then there's this. And you can tell. So apparently they spend most of their time, like, I guess, in the backyard. And I heard somebody's comment, I think it was on my friend Brooke's channel. Crime Line. True crime and... No, true... I'm sorry, Brooks. I'm sick. Crime Lines and Lies. Sorry. Good grief. But they had said, I swear it was on her channel, maybe they're spending so much time in the backyard because they think their house is bugged from the FBI. Their house may be bugged by the FBI. I don't know. I mean, I assume they've probably got cameras up because they did for Brian Laundrie. You know, they always say that they don't think she's a flight risk and all this stuff. You know, I'm sure they've got some sort of surveillance going that maybe the family's not aware of. But for one thing, as loud as they are, it doesn't even need to be bugged probably because you can hear them all over the neighborhood. But what I was getting at was you can tell that they're drinking, that they're drunk or high or something, because she gets into an argument, Leilani gets into an argument with the protesters. And it's over this gate, this big fence thing that they've got there now. And since he disappeared, now we've got floodlights and video cameras. Like, why didn't you put video cameras up before? But now they have them, so whatever. But anyway, she gets in this argument, and you can kind of see her head, like, over the fence. And the way she's talking is like, I raised that baby. I gave him his first food. Why are you talking like that? It's weird. It's not like a normal speech pattern. You'll hear it. But they're just not helping the situation at all. Like I said, if anything, they are egging it on. It's almost like they're in the spotlight and they're loving it. Like I said, kind of reminiscent of Saint Sammy. So here's a little, this isn't the whole thing because it was a very long video. Just a little clip of their backyard rant with the protesters.
Please let us breathe. Please, I beg of you, please just let us breathe.
Why didn't you put out missing posters?
Why did you start looking for them?
You can put out flyers. You can put out flyers.
We've been told not to, and I'm not trying to answer your question, and I'm really sorry, but I'm having a meltdown, and I need to grieve. Listen, I love this baby. I watched him crawl. I taught him how to walk. I fed him his first food. Y'all don't understand.
What's his favorite food?
Listen, just please give me a chance to mourn him.
What was his favorite food then?
That's all I have to say.
She wasn't crying that night. She wanted to come on the road and kick people's ass.
And I'm praying for each and every one of you. Because y'all know tons of stories, but y'all don't have all the facts.
And tell us the facts and we'll go home.
Hey.
Well, how come the camera's here now, but the cameras wasn't here when Quinton disappeared?
God. What? You get it? What you want? You got a question? Hey, thank you.
Come to the road. Come to the road. Come to the road. One leg and I'll beat your ass, bitch. One fucking leg and you can get it.
No.
One leg. One leg.
No, you're gonna get arrested.
Don't come to that motherfucker, bitch. One leg and I scrub your ass, bitch. I have you tripping at this CashApp. How this motherfucker, you mad.
Come on.
That's where that baby at. That's why you mad, bitch. You running up like you gonna do something. You'll get touched tonight.
Y'all don't know anything.
I just need a chance to breathe. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Lonnie, what you do to the baby?
Give us a minute.
Where's that baby?
You're the one putting spotlights up.
We don't have prostitution charges. We don't have drug charges.
No, she wanna run out that gate and run back in.
So yeah, I don't really know. Like I said, I mean, I get it. If I had protesters outside of my house and they were driving me nuts and they were keeping me up at night and everything, yeah, I'd probably want to go out there and yell at them and just be like, get the hell out of here or whatever. But Casey Anthony's family went out there and fought with the protesters and they didn't go anywhere. And Brian Laundrie's family didn't engage with the protesters and they didn't go anywhere. So I'm not like saying ignore them and they'll go away, because they're not going to go away. But why do you need to add fuel to the fire? You're just making it worse for yourself by engaging with them in that way, you know? Casey's parents were like, get off my property, but Casey herself never really got out there and fought with them. But you know, you got Leilani like hauling ass down the driveway like she's gonna beat somebody's ass, and then her mom's pulling her back, and poor little dog out there just caught in the middle, I guess. But I mean, I don't know, the behavior is just so bizarre. Now I'm gonna play Leilani's interview with the news, the first time that she's really come out and spoke like this. Not like that we just watched, but this is an actual news interview with her and her ride or die mama, Billy Joe. So here we go with that.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Dawn Baker. In a WTOC exclusive, Leilani Simon, the mother of missing Chatham County toddler Quinton Simon, is speaking out tonight for the very first time since he was reported missing nearly 3 weeks ago. Chatham County Police and the FBI believe Quinton is dead and are actively searching a local landfill for his remains. Police say Leilani is the only suspect in his disappearance as well as his death. And tonight we have team coverage with our Shay Schrader and investigative reporter Max Dieknike. We begin with Shay, who joins us live outside of the Simon home. Shay, what did she talk to you about?
Leilani and I spoke about a number of things, including what she remembers from the morning she first reported Quinton missing to what life has been like as the days have gone on, still with no sign of Quinton. I talked to Leilani as well as her mother, Billy Howell, who were both just distraught over Quinton's disappearance. They say they've been harassed in the days and weeks since Quinton disappeared, but Leilani wants everybody to know that she's not running away.
I'm here. I've been here every day since this. I am not running and I'm not hiding. And if something does come up that I am at fault, I will take myself to that police station.
Chatham County Police have repeatedly said that though they've named Leilani the prime suspect in her son's disappearance and death, they don't believe she's a flight risk. Leilani says that she and her mother, Billy Howell, spend their days in the backyard of their home because it's too difficult to be inside with reminders of Quinton and the fact that he's gone.
Every day that goes by is less tears and more anger, not knowing what's happening, if that's even understandable. You wake up every day angry, hoping that you're going to get a phone call, and that phone call just doesn't come.
CCPD and the FBI haven't released many details in the case and haven't said why they believe Quinton is in a landfill. Police say they're doing that to preserve any potential court cases down the line. Leilani and Billy tell me that they get their new information about the case from watching the news and that they feel all they can do now is hope.
We want something great to come out of this, but mostly we want him not to be found in that landfill. We want him found happy and alive. We want him back in our arms, holding us. That's what we want. We're just hoping that he's in somebody's house and they're feeding him, and we're hoping that, maybe they wanted a baby or couldn't have a baby. Maybe they thought they were his savior. But it's not. That's their best hopes at this point.
Chatham County Police say they have no reason to believe that Quinton was abducted or kidnapped, and they have evidence that suggests he was placed in a dumpster and that his remains are in the landfill that they're currently searching. Leilani Simon hasn't been charged with anything at this time, but police say she is the only suspect in her son's disappearance. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. Live in Chatham County, Shay Schrader, WTOC News.
So like I said earlier, contrast how Billy Joe is in this video with the video I showed you before when she was talking about she didn't know if she could trust her. Complete 180. Complete 180. And I get wanting to support your child no matter what, but damn. And then what I was talking about, that I think that they're grabbing onto little bits and pieces of what they're hearing from protesters and the media and things like that. I've heard people outside of the house talking about, people that want children, but they can't have children and things like that. And here, they're like, oh, we hope that, somebody took him that just, they wanted a child, but they couldn't have a child, and they're taking care of him and they're feeding him and blah, 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 blah. And I feel like they got that because they've heard it said, that there's so many people out there that want kids, that can't have kids, that would do anything to be a parent. And then you have parents like that. It's heartbreaking because the babysitter would have taken him. The dad would have taken him. So many people in this world would have taken that precious boy. And I don't think that I hope that she didn't maliciously murder this boy. I feel like it probably was an accidental death, but everything that's happened after is wrong. Yes, I do still feel like it should be charged as a murder, but I don't know. There's so many alternatives when it comes to kids, If you don't want to be a parent, hell, she already really wasn't because her mom had custody. Her mom was trying to evict them, right? Remember, we went over all that? Her mom was trying to get them evicted right before this happened. Just leave. Leave the kids with your mom and just go. If you don't want to be a mom, just leave the kids. She's kicking your ass out. Just go. Go live with Danny's family or something, but just go. This never had to happen. They never do have to happen. I mean, it's sad. And I guess that's really all I can say. I'm really glad to be back on here. I'm sorry if this was kind of all over the place, but I guess I'm taking meds and my mind's kind of all over the place. And I have more videos that I'm working out. Oatmulgee 4, the Debbie Collier case updates, things like that. My priority today, though, is getting this nice meal cooked for my family. Like I said, I'm kind of doing it in stages. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to take a break and do that. But right now, while this is loading to YouTube, I'm going to try to go and make the salad. So, depending on how I feel after I get done with that, I may try to do another video today. If not, I will definitely do another one tomorrow. But thank you all for sticking with me while I've been sick, not just abandoning ship and being patient and waiting for me to feel well enough to get back on here and do a video. It sounds weird, right? But it means a lot to me to get your messages, telling me, take care of yourself. Don't worry, we're going to be here. Your health is more important and things like that. I know we don't know each other in real life, but I feel like we do. We're like family, right? So thank you for being so encouraging and sticking around. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I would encourage you to do so and click the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload. When I'm feeling well, I do a video, at least one video, pretty much every day, sometimes two. And we cover a lot of cases here, a lot. And I've gotten a lot of requests for people that want me to look into different cases, and I will get to them. You just have to let me get caught up from being sick and getting all my updates out that I've been working on. And then, yes, I will gladly look into any cases that you want to suggest. So, like I said, thank you so much. Please give this a thumbs up. Do the norm, like, share, subscribe, join channel membership if you'd like to. We're going to go on a ghost walk on Halloween in the most haunted town in Oklahoma, the first capital of Oklahoma, Guthrie. And we're super excited about it. Well, me and my daughter are. My husband's not into that. But I'm going to try to film some of that, and I will probably be uploading that as a members only. And I think it's going to be really fun. Maybe instead of recording, we may go live from the ghost walk. We'll just have to see how we're feeling that night. But yeah, that'll be Halloween night, so that's going to be really fun, I think. But as always, thank y'all for spending part of your day with me to get updated on the circus that is the Quinton Simon case. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.